There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Tiny white stuff.
So, we went to the movies recently. Just a couple movies. Have not seen the very latest release, Ant-Man. Thought we would see that this weekend, but didn't. But did go see Jurassic World. And I'll admit, I'm not a big fan of the Jurassic Park franchise. Nothing against it. Just, it's not my cup of tea. The first movie was fine as long as you turned off your brain as far as how science works. And the reason why that's significant is because, like, Independence Day, it was fine as long as you turned off your brain as far as how science works. Well, it was written by a whole bunch of people who didn't understand what science was. Okay, it never touted itself as having anything, any sort of credentials or anything like that. The reason why it's a little bit significant that you have to turn off your brain as far as how science works for Jurassic Park is because it was written by Michael Crichton based on one of his books, and his books have always been touted as being, oh, so scientific. He's a doctor, you know, and oh, he comes up with this stuff, and the science is just such hooey in those, okay? Even when he talks medicine, I just sit there and go, well, he may have been a doctor, but he clearly wasn't a good one, because he does not understand how things work, okay? Every single one of his books is just filled with just utter nonsense. Looker, which was one of his movies that he wrote and directed, and he later disavowed himself from it because it was a little bit of mishmash, and it was panned by the audiences, and it was being unbelievable. It was actually one of the most scientifically, like, oh, hey, this is how things are going to happen. This is actually true of anything he ever did. And that's the one he disavowed himself from, or distanced himself from, as well as most likely that weird one that he did that had Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons from Kiss with the little spider robots. I want to call it Predator, and it wasn't Predator, but that one was just bad. That was just weird. So Jurassic Park was fine for what it was. There was no reason for any sequels. It was just going to be, oh, we're people on a place where we shouldn't be with dinosaurs that shouldn't be, and we're now running away from dinosaurs. So they came up with Jurassic World, which just continues the idiocy from the first movies and adds to it new levels of idiocy. We're going to genetically engineer another dinosaur that's even more dangerous than anything we've ever not been able to control before. That can't go bad. We're going to give it weird abilities that we can't fully explain. Yay! We're going to hire the same guy who made genetic mistakes in the first movie, and we're going to have him do the designs for this movie. Yay! We're going to get velociraptors and have them work as a government program, and we're going to put frickin' lasers on their foreheads. I don't know why no one laughed when that happened in the movie, other than me, because all I saw was Dr. Evil. Was it fun, mindless summer entertainment? Yes. Fun, mindless summer entertainment. But I can't believe they're going to make a sequel. The body count is more than, I think, all of the other movies combined. It's just an utter, like, the bloodshed. No one talks about how bloody and horrible this movie is. One character gets a death that she doesn't deserve. It's done so gleefully to her, and she doesn't deserve it at all. And she gets like one of the worst deaths you're gonna see. Okay, she's dead like 5 times over before she finally just dies. So it was a movie. It was fun. It was mindless. If you enjoyed the Jurassic Park series, go for it. You'll enjoy this. Don't expect Hemingway. Okay? Don't expect science. Expect Crichton level science. Okay? In other words, I'm gonna introduce scientific-y things that make absolutely no sense, and actually even like a grade school science teacher would be able to go, well, that's not really how that works. But the word's right. That is a word we use in science. So, and pardon the bird in the background. The bird feels like he needs to contribute. He gets lonely. The other thing we saw last weekend was Minions. Da-da-da! These little guys. Woo! I'm a minion. I make minion-y noises. Yay! Yay! Okay, Minions. Okay. I was asked even just last night what I thought about the movie Minions. And the way that it was asked to me, I could tell that they had already heard people talk about the movie Minions. They had already kind of come to a conclusion themselves about the movie Minions, and they were waiting for me to tear it apart. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to tear it apart. It was enjoyable. I laughed. I will admit that there is a section in the movie that I fell asleep. I have no idea what happened during the King Bob moments. And I'm not even spoiling anything because you see part of that on the commercials anyway, and I can't tell you anything about it. I fell asleep pretty much for the entirety of King Bob. Found out that a coworker of mine and her husband also both fell asleep during that same moment. So it's not just me. The only problem I have with the movie, really, is that it shouldn't have been a movie. There's not a plot. There's not 90 minutes of plot there. There's like 5 to 8 sections of plot. It should have been made into a series of short movies, little cartoon shorts to entertain, and then that would have been it. That would have been perfectly fine. They sustained that much plot. But instead, it's weirdly, tenuously tied together in a weird way that just doesn't make any sense. That's the weak part. That's why you suddenly start feeling bored or whatever, is because, well, that story's really dragging on. No, that story's not dragging on. That story finished. And they've started a whole brand new story, but they connected it all together, and you just don't realize that they're not branding it as, oh, this is a whole bunch of different stories. If you look at it as a whole bunch of different stories, it doesn't drag. If you look at it as one big story, oh my god, it drags, because nothing ends and nothing begins. And one of the sad things is that there's a family that's introduced in the movie, and it's voiced by the father is Michael Keaton, and the mother is Jamie. She's the mother who plays on the TV show Mom, and I think she was in West Wing or something like that before. And they're really good. It's a very interesting little story. I really wanted to find out more about them, but they only serve in this one story part. That's it. Just one part of story, because that's all it was there was a little section of story. Once that's done, that's done. They show up again at the end, so you know that everything's okay, but until then, that actually is kind of part of the proof of the fact that it actually was just probably 7 or 8 different short stories, segments that they decided to make a movie out of, because they are complete within this segment, and they are introduced so fully that they seem like full characters that you want to see more of, but no, they're done because their segment is done. I would watch a movie about them. They need to make a movie about them. oh my god, I really want to see a movie about them. They really entertain me. But then again, very talented actors doing the voices, so yay! But Minions was fine. Minion was perfectly fine. It just, I get the criticisms, but it was a perfectly fine movie. So that's my take on that. Go see it. Take your kids to it. Your kids are going to love it. There's all sorts of cute little toys. You go to McDonald's and you get a Happy Meal and you get a little Minion toy and you bang it and it makes noise. Ta-da! See? So, yay for that. Other than that, right, like I said, I thought we were going to do Ant-Man. We didn't do Ant-Man, so I will have to talk to you guys about Ant-Man some other day. But until then, that is movies for this week. You got TV last week, you're getting movies this week. Ta-da! That's how this works. You're also getting bird in the background noises. Bird in the background. And so until next week, when I figure out what else I'm going to talk about, this is Edward talking to you from More Geek Than Gay. Joseph should be back next week. This is still the practice and the segments and everything. We're still working out the bugs before we get the full relaunch going. So expect a full relaunch in the near future. But until then, I hope you're enjoying these segments. And please let us know what you think, what else you want to see us do. Hope you have a great day, and catch you next week. Or don't forget to check out the other segments, okay? Because we are still testing out new sodas. I'm still giving you the general segment that's talking about everything. Or if you're listening to the audio podcast, you're getting all of this, okay? Eventually, I'm going to stop giving you the breakdown on this because it's going to stop being a test relaunch, and we're going to not have a bird in the background that's just going to add his 2 cents worth because no one's talking to him and he feels like someone needs to be talking to him. So, catch you next week. Catch the soda stuff. Catch the general stuff. If you listen to the podcast, give us a thumbs up on iTunes. That really, really helps. And please leave us some feedback. Every little bit helps us as we work on relaunching. And those of you who have been following us, thank you very much. It was great to come back and see automatically things are starting to launch. So, yay. It's like you guys have been just patiently waiting. Thank you very much. So, have a good week, and toodles!